So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So as you're sitting here in your seats, just bring your feet to nice, comfortable space. You can take a block. If you're practicing at home, you'll need 2 blocks for this practice. And you can take the block if you'd like and just place it behind your back in between the seat back and you. And that will give you a little bit more awareness in the length of the spine. And so finding that comfortable position where you can allow the spine to be long and allow the hands to rest there on the lap, palms down to ground or up to receive. And just taking some slow breaths, allowing the shoulders to melt down away from the ears, the eyes to softly close or gentle gaze. And allow your awareness to go inward. And taking a body scan, moving from the top of your head down through the body, through the feet. Just feeling the feet grounding there onto the earth. And noticing any places within you that need some extra support, some extra love, some extra wisdom. Whether it's tension or tightness or those parts of you feel really awesome. Just honoring all parts of you, all of you is welcome. And settling into the presence of yourself here on your mat, your presence in the room. And allowing this next hour to be just for you. If you have any cell phones or any distractions, taking a moment just to turn those off. And as always, if there's anything that I cue that doesn't work in your body today, take the variation that does. This is your practice, honoring you at all times. And in a few moments, I'll guide us through some breath. We'll be working with our arms and breath, the first part of our practice. On your next inhale, allowing the arms to float down towards the side. If you've got a block still behind you, you might want to take that and just set it off onto the ground there. And then coming back so your arms can be here at the sides of the body. Eyes can stay closed if you'd like, or let them flutter open, little sliver of light. And on your next inhale, lifting the arms up overhead, lifting and reaching, arms up, reaching for the stars, and then take a nice long stretch with your right arm up towards the sky. And then reversing left arm up, good morning stretch. And as you're stretching, allowing a gentle curve to the upper part of your spine so you feel that stretch into the intercostal muscles of the ribs, the cage around your heart. Good morning stretches, inhaling and exhaling, tuning into your breath, how it feels in the body, where it lands, the texture, the sensation. And on your next inhale, both arms once again reaching up towards the sky. And exhale, float the hands down. 2 more breaths. Inhale, lifting the arms up, fingers reach for the stars. And exhale, this time rolling the wrists on your way down. And one more inhale as you lift. Exhale, float, roll, however you feel you want to come back down into the earth. And then just take a roll of the shoulders back, a few rolls, alternating shoulders. And then perhaps switching direction, bringing the right shoulder forward, left shoulder. And then finding some stillness here in the body. We'll take some side stretches. If you'd like to take your blocks and bring them to the side of your chair, or if your chair is really high, you might just grab onto the side of the chair if you'd like. And take a few moments to scoot yourself up towards the edge of the seat so that you have a little bit of room here between you and the back of your chair. And then inhaling, lifting both fingers, both hands, all fingers up towards the sky. Exhale, shoulders fall away from the neck. Inhale as you lengthen through the spine, lifting up. Exhale, right hand floats down, either touches onto that block or grabs onto the chair as you lift the left fingers up and then bending over, rooting that left side back down into the seat, while your left hand reaches over towards the right. Perhaps your gaze is under the left armpit. And we'll take this as a little hold, so keep breathing as you're reaching. Inhale, reach, stay for your exhale. Inhale, both hands back up towards the sky, returning to neutral. Exhale, left hand down. Right arm reaches up and over. Reaching really for the corner of the room where the wall meets the ceiling. So rather than collapsing, you're lifting up and over, rooting the right sits bones back into the seat. Inhale, lift, and we'll flow this 2 times either side. Exhale, right hand down, left arm up and over, moving a little bit quicker now. Inhale, lift, exhale to your left. Inhale one more time. You've got this. Exhale to the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands float back down to heart center. And from here, we'll take a seated child's pose. So bringing your elbows to the thighs and resting your hand just there on, or your forehead just onto the elbows. Now, as you're sitting in this seated child's pose, imagine that you're drawing the tailbone back towards the back of the room and the top of your head towards the front of the room. So really lengthening the spine out in an active pose. And then tuning back into the breath. It may be a bit of a challenge to breathe into the belly in this posture. So as you're breathing, you can imagine that you're breathing along the length of your spine. So sending your breath across the back of the body or out to the sides of the rib cage. And take 2 more full breaths, allowing the breath to fill up the body wherever the breath can move, maybe into places it hasn't breathed yet today. And the exhales extending just a little bit longer than your inhale. On your next inhale, slowly releasing your forehead from your hands. You might take one hand to one thigh, the second hand to the other thigh, making your way back up. And then we'll reach for these blocks and place them right in between the feet. And then heel toeing the feet out wide. Heel toe to activate the shins and the calves, so your feet remember how to lift as you're moving, and then adjust your sits bones so you have a nice firm planting onto the seat. And we'll just play with our legs here for a little bit, and then we'll make our way into a forward fold. I see a little bit of movement that needs to happen. So lifting up the toes, and then lifting up the heels, and the toes and the heels, just a few times, allowing yourself to go into maybe a meditative state here as you lift. Feel the calves start to burn, feel the shins start to arch. You can even play with the toes here, maybe rolling the toes under, giving the top of the foot a stretch. Just being gentle with the toes if you have any kind of contraindications or any toe surgeries, being gentle. Just bringing the awareness to our feet. Might do a little feet work today. few more breaths. And then finding a little stillness here in the feet and just start tapping, letting the shins start to do the work, firing up, letting the shins start to burn, growing some shin muscle. So your toes, your feet, remember how to lift as you're walking up the stairs, as you're walking up ramps. A lot of times as we start to become more sedentary in our lives, our feet don't remember how to lift and move, and occasionally people trip. So this helps to build strength in the shins. How are the shins? Are they burning? Are they on fire? For fun. I know mine are slowing down. It feels like they're moving through honey. 5, come on. 4, breathe through it. 2, and 1, let them rest. Ooh, ooh. Yes, take another breath. Imagine the breath going right down to each shin and exhaling that out. All right, letting the hands float to the sides of the body. Inhale as you lift, fingers up towards the sky. Exhale, hands float down to heart center, shoulders melt away from your ears. Inhale, lengthen the spine once again, pull in this transverse abdominis. Now straight spine, forward fold, reaching with your hands towards that block. Try to keep your spine straight so you're protecting the lumbar spine, the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, letting the hands find those blocks. And then if you have a lot of flexibility in the hip flexors, the legs, or even your body, you can lower those blocks to any height setting, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And it may change as we move through our practice here. I'm going to take a rotation of the body here. So finding a little stillness before we get moving. And take just a moment, if you can, to bend the elbows down a little, dropping the heart space, the sternum a little bit closer down towards the ground, adjusting the legs if needed. Just giving a slow stretch to the lumbar spine. And on your next inhale, straightening the arms, rooting down into the block or the mat with your left hand. Inhale the right fingers up towards the sky, rotating your heart space over towards the right. Exhale, right hand floats down, takes the place of the left hand. Inhale, the left finger floats up. Exhale, lower back down. We'll take this one more time, each direction. Inhale, right, fingers up. Exhale, float. Let the hand land. Inhale, left hand up. And exhale, float back down. Whew. Inhale, one hand to one thigh, the other hand to the other thigh as you make your way back to a seated position. And heel toe the feet close back together. All right, we're going to do a little bit more functional movement here in the body. So you might scoot towards the edge of the seat a little bit more. All right, feet are going to be a nice 90-degree angle, so knees stacked over ankles. And we're going to take the left hand and reach it up and across the body as you take the eyes and reach up. And imagine you're reaching for something on a high shelf. Maybe it's a glass or a pain pill or a wine bottle. I don't know what you're reaching for, but imagine you're reaching for even an apple and pluck it and drop it down into the basket. And inhale across with your right hand, reach up and over, grab whatever it is that you're grabbing and bring it back down. And switching it out. Inhale. See if you can take your eyes with you as you watch your hand. So you're getting this movement through the neck, the eyes, the head, the arms as you're reaching across. These moves I learned from an accessible yoga teacher, Jivana Heyman. You can find him on YouTube as well. He teaches accessible yoga classes, which are wonderful. He's a beautiful teacher. And one more each side. And letting that come back down to earth. So now whatever you've got in your buckets, maybe whatever it is that you filled up, we're going to take it for a drive. So reaching the arms out in front of you, imagine that you're holding onto a steering wheel. It can be whatever size steering wheel you want, a tractor, a race car, whatever it is. Shoulders melt down away from the ears. Pull in the transverse abdominis and lengthen the spine. As you inhale, turn your steering wheel over towards the right and gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to neutral, and then turn over to the left, gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, back to neutral. You're really driving, I don't know, some kind of a windy road. Inhaling to neutral, exhaling to turn. And maybe you suddenly decide you're in a bigger vehicle. So it's a tractor or something with a big wheel. So your arms become a little bit further apart. And one more time in each direction. And returning back to neutral. Stick your right foot out. Press on the gas. So pulling the toes back towards you, sending your heel out in front of you. Keep your arms where they're at. Pull in this transverse abdominis. Shoulders draw back into their sockets. Straight spine as you inhale to lengthen. Exhale, reach forward. Pressing the foot forward as well. Stretching into the hamstring, toes flexed. Imagining that your energy is shooting out the heel, so flexing through that heel. Inhale, return back to neutral. Bring that right leg in. You can let your arms rest for a moment if you need, and then extend the left leg, heel out, toes flexed, reaching your arms forward, and then drawing the shoulders back, engaging the core as you inhale to lengthen. Exhale, heel presses forward while your fingers reach forward, feeling that stretch along the hammy. A little micro bend in the knee, so you're not locking the knee out. Keep that micro bend to protect the knee, the hamstrings. And inhale, coming back. Returning back to the seat. Give your legs a little shake. How's it feeling? Yee? Yee? All good? All right. A little bit more here with our legs before we stand up. So finding this 90-degree angle with your left leg and the right leg. I'm going to bring this right leg up. You can use your hand to grip that right leg if you'd like, or just lift it, whatever feels best. And just imagine you're putting on a sock or tying your shoe. So you're kind of holding it up there if you can. If you need to lift, hold it, right? You can grab the shin or the hamstrings. Wind removing pose. Maybe take an ankle circle or two, reverse direction. Now, instead of letting this leg float back down to the ground, see if you can bring the thigh parallel to the earth and then extend the leg directly out in front. Engage the kneecap, engage the thigh, and let that right heel float down towards the ground. Hold on to the chair for dear life, and then lift up. See if you can lift without using the hands. If you need to, of course, grab that leg and use the assistance of lifting. But a couple of crunches here for 5. Ooh. And take it just as high as you can. It doesn't have to be high. It can be just the idea of it lifting. For 3, 2, last one. Oh, let it go. And bend that right knee. Windshield wiper. Yes, take a little stretch. Maybe you drop that right leg down. Leg, knee. Big stretches on that side. Bringing the foot back when you're ready. Got a burn in the thigh. You can pat it out, feels good. A little energy in the leg, a little massage, that hip flexor. My friend Lana likes to karate chop. Ooh, that was big work on that right side. We're going to do the same thing on the left, so it might be different, and that's okay if it's different on the left side versus the right. All right, so we're going to take the left leg and just bring it in. You can hold the hamstring, the shin. Imagine you're tying your shoes or putting on a sock. So you're activating the core, the hip flexor, the leg. And some ankle circles if that feels good. All right, find stillness there in the foot and lower that thigh parallel to the earth. You can keep holding on to the leg if you'd like and see if you can extend the left leg out. And lower the heel back down. And inhale, see if you can lift. Use the support of the arm if you need. Or hold on to the chair, see if you can just lift without holding the leg. Take it to the degree that you feel comfortable with. It feels good in the body, and if it hurts, don't do it. Holding on to the leg and the pant leg is always good for 3, 2, and last one. Let it lower down. Ooh, bending that left knee. A couple of stretches here, opportunities. You can either sit straight forward on the mat and let the leg float down to the side and lean back, or you can turn in your chair so that left leg hangs off your knee down towards the ground, your foot untucked, holding on to the chair, a little back bend, little stretch in that front side of the leg. And then bringing and releasing that leg. We're going to make our way out of our seat. Couple of options to get up out of the seat. We can get up out of our fake chair into a real chair, into an imaginary chair, or we can use this chair to stand up. So whatever is best for you, take what it is. Feet are going to be there about hip width distance apart. And then inhale the arms up. And exhale, hands out in front of you, palms down, draw the shoulders back into their sockets and engage this core muscle as you begin to reach forward until you can't reach anymore without lifting the seat up. If you can lift that seat up, begin to lift. Now let's refine this imaginary chair. Pull in this transverse abdominis. So when you start to pull that transverse abdominis in, you'll see a neutralization or feel of a neutralization of the lower spine, and then knit the rib cage in and down as well. So you'll have a neutral spine, and then draw the shoulders back into their sockets. Can you lift the sternum, lift your gaze, and can you bend and bounce just a little for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands float down to the side. Whew, finding your mountain. You made it. Slow, deep breath in. Extend the exhale. Let your body move out of that fight or flight and back into a parasympathetic nervous system state. One more slow breath in, perhaps for a count of 3. And exhale for a count of 6. All right, now we'll engage the core. We're right here in mountain already, so we'll take it a little bit deeper, moving it into Samastihiti. So take a look down at your feet and bring your feet so that they're about hip width distance apart. Hip width distance is going to be 2 of your fists bumped together in between your feet, or the width of one of the blocks there on its medium setting. And that will give you this bone hip alignment where your hips are stacked over the knees, over the ankles. And then moving your way into a mountain pose. So lifting all of your toes up, setting them back down onto the ground. And then rooting in, shifting left and right until you feel yourself equally balanced on both of your feet. And then finding stillness through the body, allowing that stillness to settle in, imagining the roots underneath your feet growing down into the earth. And then slowly start to draw your awareness up, engaging the kneecaps, engaging the thighs, engaging the hips, engaging the glutes, pulling in this core muscle, transverse abdominis. And then inhale as you lift the shoulders up by your ears, squeeze them up, and exhale as you squeeze the shoulders down and back, allowing the palms to open, fingers wide. Engaging the body, simultaneously rooting down through the ground while lifting up through the spine, lifting through the top of your head, lengthening all of you. Now keep engaging the body. So notice your forearms, your biceps, everything engaged, your core muscles, your glutes, everything is engaged. And if you feel really good here, you might want to close the eyes down and take your awareness inward just for a few breaths. As you keep the body engaged, noticing any spaces that might have gotten a little softer and re-engaging. Keep firing it up. This is Samastihiti. This is most of the the asana that most of our yoga postures start from. And Samastihiti in Sanskrit means equal balance or to command attention. And so it's from this place in your life, this sensation in the body, this mental grit that you're able to transmute anything that is happening in your life, to transform yourself, and to call forth the strength and courage and determination within you so that you can manifest everything in your life. Take one more slow breath in. And as you exhale, rather than moving just slowly from the top of your head, release the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the biceps, the fingers, the belly, the hips, the glutes, the knees. And softly land back here into a soft mountain pose. And allowing the sensation of that last posture to just flow through you and reveal what it is that it needs to reveal. One more slow breath in and an extra slow breath out. We'll take this into a little twist. So I want you to imagine that your headlights are attached to the front of your hips here. And I'd like for you to try to keep these headlights straight forward if you can, as we're going to rotate towards the right and the left. So arms floating down to the sides, headlights of the legs, the hips locked in. Inhale as you lift your hands towards the sky. Exhale as you rotate open towards the right, arms come down parallel to the earth. And then just notice if that left hip popped forward, can you draw it back? So you're rotating above the belly button over towards the right. Inhale, unwind, both hands come back towards the sky. Exhale, rotate and open to the left side. Left hand reaches back behind you, right hand reaches to the front. Headlights locked back in, refining your posture. Inhale, unwind, coming back. Both hands back to the sky. We'll do a little cactus back bend. Lift your heart, squeeze that $10,000 in between the shoulders as you squeeze. Imagine how you're going to spend it. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Whew. All right, we're going to do our little warrior series. So setting any blocks off to the side for now. And then taking your chair, I'm going to move my chair to the side here, but moving your chair to the front of your mat so that you can stand behind your chair and the tall side of the chair is closest to you. Phew-wee. All right, standing at the back of your chair, we're going to move into a warrior two posture first. So right leg is going to stay to the front. Left leg is going to float back further than you think. And let that left heel come down to the mat, and your toes are going to point towards the outside of your mat. This left hip is going to be open, And then bend into the right knee. So opening the hip, and take a look at this right knee. If it's not stacked right over the ankle, walk that little foot forward so that it can be stacked. If your knee is over the foot or toes like that, it's not going to give you support to the knee. So you want to have a nice stacked position. And then when you're ready, opening the arms to a warrior two, left hand reaches behind, right arm reaches to the front or holds to the chair, whatever feels the best to you. Now, body awareness, bring your awareness into your feet and press down through the front foot and the pinky edge of the back foot, isometrically separating the legs like you are going to rip that mat right apart underneath you, using the feet and legs to rip it apart. And then moving up, can you see the inside of your knee to the inside of the foot? If not, open that right knee a little bit more and then pull in this transverse abdominis. You neutralize the tailbone. Fingers reach forward and back in opposite directions and then squeeze simultaneously the shoulders together. $10,000 tucked up right up in there. Gazing over your front fingertips, finding this warrior inside of you. We'll move this to an extended side angle. Inhale as you reach forward. When you can't go any further, you can let that right hand come to the chair and lift the left arm up. Maybe you bring the left fingers over and reach towards the front of the room. Pressing down through that back pinky edge, stretching along the whole left side of the body from the pinky edge through the hip, through the ribs, through the armpit as you reach. Hold for one more breath. Inhale, moving back to a warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Flip the right palm up. Exhale, reverse. Triangle. Give that leg a break. Continue to breathe into the whole right side lung. Inhale, coming back to a warrior two. Find that bend in the front knee. And now we'll reverse this warrior. Reverse, taking a high five to the back wall. Mind the commitment in your right knee is bent. Inhale, coming back to a warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the back of the chair. Spin your back heel up. Then step your back foot to meet the front. Whew. Take a moment. How are you feeling? There's a long hold with that, yeah? All right, I'm just going to move my chair so that you can see me. Your chair is going to stay where it's at. I'm going to set these off to the side back here. Deep breath in, slow breath out. We're going to do it again on the other side. So this time your left foot is going to stay to the front. Your right foot is going to step back further than you think, and then spin that right heel down. Right toes are going to be facing the side of the mat. So you'll have an open hip, and then bending into the left knee, finding the alignment there on the left side. Knees stacked over the ankle. You can see the inside of the foot. And when you're ready then, reaching your arms in opposite directions, you can have your hand on the chair if you need that extra support. And then gazing over that front hand, even if your hand is on the chair, gazing forward, whatever feels the best for you. And then finding that refinement, rooting down through the feet, pulling in this transverse abdominis, squeezing the shoulder blades. Inhale, extended side angle, reach forward when you can't go any further. Tick-tock the arms. Maybe you can reach that right arm over, bicep by the ear. Just take what feels comfortable in your body. Ooh, beautiful work. Rooting down through that back foot. It's reaching through the front fingers. Inhale, rise back up to warrior two. Whew, straightening the left leg. Left leg straight. Inhale as you flip the left palm up. Exhale, reverse. Breathing into the whole left side lung here. Inhale, moving back to a warrior two. Flipping the left palm up and reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the back of the chair, spin the back heel up, step the back foot to meet the front. Deep, slow breath in, long exhale. All right, we're going to work a little on the balance as well. Heart rate is up, feels good. Slower the breath. Slow inhales, slower exhales. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of not a little bit, but a lot of a heel lift. But we're going to actually activate a muscle that's underneath the calf muscle. So when we do our heel lifts, you can see we're really activating this calf muscle. But for anybody that has some pain in the heels, the ankles, the legs, that even those heel lifts don't work out basically, you can take a block or a ball. We're going to use a block and put it on its low setting. So low setting is this angle, and in between the heels on your feet. So not in between the feet, but in between the heels. Now, if you have any counterindications to your feet, if there's any surgeries or anything that prevents you from lifting onto your heels, please don't do it. But we're going to, by squeezing our heels into this block as we lift, we're going to actively engage the micro muscles underneath the calves. So it's a micro muscle that runs from the heel underneath the calf. So we'll squeeze the block with our heels. So setting up for this, let's separate the toes as wide as you can. Let them root back down into the ground. And then begin squeezing your heels into the block. And then when you're ready, slowly lifting up onto the ball mounds of your feet. Continue squeezing the heels into that block and then lowering down. So taking your time in these movements as you lift and lower, activating for yourself a balance challenge if you'd like to have just one finger of each hand on the back of the chair, or maybe just one finger on the chair. Just play with what feels right for you. Maybe you have no hands on the chair. Just playing and breathing, and keep squeezing into that block. So as you lift, you might notice that you stop the squeeze, but squeeze so you activate that micro muscle right underneath the calf. Lift and lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Make it the best squeeze as you lower down. And take a few moments to circle out the ankles. Get that block out of the way. How did that feel? Wild? All right. All right, from here we're going to do a little balancing. So balancing stick. So we'll root down into our balancing stick with the right leg first, rooted in. So left toes are going to float back towards the back of the mat. So toes can be connected there with the mat. And then keeping your left hand on the chair, lift the right hand up. So you're going to kind of have this long line like you're a stick there. Now drawing into this transverse abdominis, pull that in. Inhale as you stretch your fingers long and point the toes on your left foot. So your toe might be floating off of the ground. You can stay here if you'd like. If you'd like a little bit more, you can just hinge forward, hinge from your hips, moving into a balancing stick, a warrior 3, using that core muscle, using the hip muscles, the glutes. If you need to rest the hand, you can. Take what you need here. And one breath in. And exhale, coming slowly back out of it. Let the left foot land and the right hand come back down. Whew. All right, we're going to take it a little bit further. So turning so that your right hand can be at the chair. I guess it's your right hand, right? Yeah, all right. And then if you'd like to bring a block up in front of you, We're going to do a one-legged mountain. So you can have this block on any height setting. The block is just there for you to rest your toes on in this one-legged mountain, a little extra support. You don't have to use that if you don't want. It can be on any height setting as well. But it's there just to be a supportive friend. All right, so right hand is at the back of the chair, rooting down Samastihiti right leg. So engaging the foot, the kneecaps, the thigh, the hips, pulling that all in. And when you're ready, lifting the left thigh parallel to the earth, letting your toes connect there with the block or your foot on that block, whatever feels best. And once you have your balance, maybe you flex the foot. So little to no weight in that left foot. It's just there to balance on. So flexing that foot. If you'd like to challenge your balance, perhaps your finger is on the back of the chair, or maybe your hand is just lifting, rooting down through your standing foot, lifting through the spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that left leg back down. Whew. Now we're going to move it all together, all at one. So we're going to combine the balancing stick. Right hand can stay there on the chair. And bring, well, let me demonstrate first. So balancing stick is that left leg is going to be back, right hand's going to be here on the chair. And you can lift that leg up, and then we'll bring that leg down. You can either land it before we move into a one-legged mountain, or you can just bend the knee and move into a one-legged mountain. So combining that move together. So rooting through the right leg, left toes meet back. And if you'd like to take this a little deeper, lifting the left leg, moving into that warrior 3, that balancing stick, hinging from the hip. And a slow breath in. As you exhale, float the left leg back down, bending the knee and bringing that thigh parallel to the earth. There's a block if you need right in front. Flexing the left toes. Finding a little balance challenge just for a moment. And then exhale, landing it back down to earth. Whew, how'd that feel? A lot of work on this right hip, so taking a moment to just allow your body, taking the hands to the waist, some of these Shaolin circles or whatever movement feels best in your body to release the hips, the feet, the legs, whatever feels right. All right, we're going to move balancing stick to the other side. So I'm just moving my chair. Your chair is going to stay there. We're going to try our balancing stick where our hands are both facing the chair, our body's facing the back of the chair first, and then we'll move to that one-legged mountain, and then we'll combine the two. So with both hands at the back of the chair facing towards the front, left leg is going to root in this time, right toes are going to float back. And then lifting the left arm up, point the toes on the right foot, pull in the transverse abdominis, engaging this glute. Inhale, slowly hinge forward, keeping a micro bend in the knee. Don't lock the knee out. Keep breathing as you reach forward. If you need to reach for the back of the chair, it's there. If there's a wall nearby, whatever support it is you need, finding this balancing stick, a warrior 3. Inhale, slowly coming back out, letting the foot land back down to the earth. Hand comes back down. Whew. Slow breath in, slower breath out. And then we'll turn so that the left hand is there at the back of the chair. Positioning your block so that your right foot can rest on that block if needed. Rooting down through the left side, pulling in this transverse abdominis. When you're ready, inhale, lift that right thigh parallel to the earth. Finding your one-legged mountain. Toes rest there on the block. Foot can rest on the block. And if you'd like to flex that foot, lift the foot off of the block. And if you are feeling a little more, wanting more of a challenge, just lifting the hand or the finger off of the back of the chair. So challenging your balance, taking it to the degree that feels comfortable and safe for you, where you can build your balance stamina incrementally. And a slow breath in. And exhale, let that right leg land. Let the foot come back down to the earth. And now we'll combine both movements. So rooting now through the left foot, taking the right toes back behind you. So toes connect there with the ground. And then perhaps you point the right toes. Leg is long and strong on the right side. Putting your weight into the left leg, a little micro bend in the knee, and perhaps hinging forward. Finding your balance here. And exhaling, drawing the right knee forward, moving and lifting that right thigh to either connect there with the block or to lift the toes, flex the foot. Slow breath in and release that back down, releasing the leg. Take a moment here. What do you need? Little back stretch, a little bend. Take a little back stretch if we need here. So taking your hands to the back of the chair, we'll move our feet back into a down dog. So moving the feet back, arms stretch out in front of you. So not reaching or putting a lot of weight into the arms, bless you. Sending your hips back as your heart, your sternum lowers in between the shoulders. Inhale as you slowly walk forward. Walking forward out of your down dog. We'll take a little back bend here. So taking your hands into little imaginary pockets on either side. And then squeezing the shoulders, sending your elbows to the back wall, pulling in this transverse abdominis as you inhale to lengthen, exhale, lift the sternum, lift your gaze, a little back bend. Stretch out the lower back, protect the spine. Inhale as you slowly make your way back up. And then reaching for your chair and pulling it back onto your mat. So drawing the chair back so that you can sit down onto your chair. And as you draw that back, then take a moment to tightrope yourself, one foot in front of the other, to the front of the mat, and then tightrope yourself back into the seat until you can sit down. We made it. Little balance challenge. It is a good thing we don't walk on a tightrope. All right. All right. So we're moving into our closing, cooling down. Slow breath in, a slow breath out. And let's take this right leg and draw that up. Once again, wind removing. A couple of options here. We'll take it to a figure 4. So there's a few options with figure 4. You can take your right ankle across the left thigh. If that's really challenging and you can't get there, that's okay. Extend that left leg long and then take the right ankle across the shin or the thigh. Or if that doesn't work either, you can take a block and just put the side of the foot there onto a block. So finding any posture that feels better to you. You can even take this as a seated tree where you just have this foot there on the inside or the bottom of the foot on the chair leg. So finding what feels the best. And then when you're ready to lengthen the spine and just gently hinging forward, releasing the outside of the leg. So whatever feels the best in your body as you take this stretch, noticing where there may be some tension and if there's opportunity to soften that tension, intentionally soften your tension. And slowly making your way back out of this figure 4, bringing the leg back in if your left leg is extended, and bringing that right ankle across and down. Take a little windshield wiper, right leg windshield wiper. Maybe the left leg joins into. A little hip mobility. Whew. And we'll take this to the opposite side. So finding what works on this side, you can either draw that left leg in for a wind removing pose and then take that left ankle across the right thigh. Or find another variation extending the right leg, ankle across the shin or the block. Whatever works. May be different on either side. That's normal. We carry our energy and our emotions differently each day and in different places of our body. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhaling, just hinging forward a little bit until you feel that edge in your body. And as you find that edge, consciously release any tension from the left hip, from the shoulders, let that melt down, elbows melt. And inhale, making your way back out of this posture, releasing your ankle, letting that foot float back down and taking windshield wiper if that feels good. Lots of movement today. And from here, we'll move into our Shavasana. So a couple of opportunities to make this Shavasana your own. If you'd like to lay down on the ground, you can. If you'd like to set your feet up on blocks, you can. You can glide your sits bones back into your seat and allow yourself to just rest in your seat. Beautiful expressions and allowing your body to soften down. So imagine that your eyes are closing. And the shoulders are snuggled underneath the back or down away from the neck. The hands and elbows soften, the belly rests. Your legs soften and root into the earth. And taking a slow, intentional breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Shavasana. Slowly returning to the awareness of your breath. Slowly returning to the sensations in your physical body, inviting tiny micro movements to the fingers, your toes. Maybe you turn head side to side. Perhaps you take a good afternoon, morning, evening stretch, reaching your arms and body in opposite directions. Taking some movements as you move back into the body. And as you make your way up to a seated position or allow yourself to flutter your eyes open. And if it's in your practice to allow your hands to float to the side and inhale as you scoop up all of your transformation that you have brought into your body, your awareness, your strength, and exhale all of this down into your heart space, sealing it in forever. And we'll close with a little quote from the book, The Way Forward by Young Pueblo. Double down on love. Not the superficial love that ignores reality or history, but the real love that is ready to move mountains. The type of love that is not afraid of action, change, or personal growth. The type of love that wants the best for all people, including yourself. And if it's in your practice to allow your thumbs to float to your forehead, your third eye, we'll bow towards the divine light within each of us. Namaste. Thank you, yogis.